cooking pretty well, they're shrinking. This means all the water is getting released. You can see. So you don't need all that water. Okay. You need to get rid of it by cooking it all, not by throwing.
So when did you think of making cooking as your professional career?
So when I was in fourth grade, I guess.
Oh, that early.
Yeah, pretty early on in my life, I decided that I want to become a professional chef. But then, yeah, there have been changes in between. But there was once a time I wanted to be a cricketer, a pilot, and then finally stuck on to my decision, which I took.
We have one more question. Have you started boiling pasta?
Not yet. So before you start boiling the pasta should come like the water should come to a boil, like a rolling boil, and that's when you add the pasta sheet. And there is this very bad misconception where people add oil to their water, but I suggest you don't add oil to your water because one, it ruins the entire, like you're throwing away the water. So there's no point of the oil. It doesn't impart any flavor or anything. So what you can do is once your pasta is done, strain it, and then you will oil the different layers so that they don't stick. So they have a lot of starch. So you don't want pasta to stick to each other, but it's okay if it sticks. It's like a first time thing, and again, it depends on how you layer it. If you want to go through a hard time by pairing the layers, go for it.
So at what point do you know the vegetables are ready?
So you can, like I showed you, right? There's some water underneath. So once all the water is evaporated and you will get a completely different, smell altogether. That's when you know that, okay, your vegetables are soft enough. But if you want a bite, I would suggest you can stop midway and add your tomato puree and finish off the sauce if you like the bite of vegetables. But again, it depends on person to person. So yeah, to your liking. But keep tasting. Whenever you cook something, you need to keep tasting, right? So for example, like I can tell without tasting because I've done a lot of this before. But keep tasting salt, doneness of your vegetables, how well you want it cooked. Everything depends on you. So you need to always keep a spoon handy and keep tasting.
Okay.
Also, there are some people over here. Wait, I think someone has a question. Pasta was not mentioned in the list. We had mentioned it as lasagna sheets. Yeah. I think some people over here are interested in pursuing hotel management later. So can you tell us how that experience was for you?
See, hotel management for me was really fun because I had made up my mind that I want to do this, that I want to pursue this. But let me tell you, it's a tough ride because most of the time, there is no time, right? So you're just continuous. Just a second, I'll continue with this. So now we are adding tomato puree, right? Okay. So I'm adding 2 of these tetra pack.
Do we salt our vegetables?
I'm sorry?
Do we salt our vegetables?
Yeah, I mean, like at the so what I do is at the end, I check for seasoning. But again, if you guys want to salt it before, you can. Completely up to you. So what I feel is basically at the very end, you can check for seasoning because that's when you know how apt it will be in flavor profiles. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Because once you salt it in different stages, you lose the, you don't really have the apt quantity of how much seasoning you want
think your audio is gone from the phone.
Tomato puree, again, you can have a substitute for tomato puree if you want it to be fresh. You can boil your tomatoes, de-seed it, de-skin it, and blend it. And it forms basically this. But if you want this color, you need to cook that off also for 10 minutes. And then add.
Okay.
So again, it depends.
So this is an easier way.
This is an easier way. Right. So yeah, coming back to hotel management. Yeah, it was a 3-year course. It was a tough phase. You do not have time to do. You don't have time for yourself pretty much. But then once you're into it and you give it your 100%, I think it's pretty fun. You get to learn a lot of new things. You get to think out of the box and you get to explore.
I don't know if this was answered, but someone asked, is the tomato puree sweet?
It's not sweet. It's not sweet. Again, it's got a very tangy flavor to it. So it's not something like a pomodoro or something. It's just an Indian tomato puree. So it's pretty tangy.
Hi Nishita. So you can make your tomato puree by boiling your tomatoes and de-seeding them, and then putting it in the grinder. That's what the chef just mentioned.
So right now, I think they're using packaged tomato puree because it's a lot more easier to use. Yeah.
Hi guys, so what I've heard is there's some audio lag or some audio modulation problem. So we have gone to get a pair of headphones. We'll be back in a minute.
Neha, there's another question by Sunny B. How should be the flame of the gas, high or low?
Like when you're cooking out the vegetables, it needs to vary between and high to get rid of excess moisture. But once you add the tomato puree, I think it's better to simmer. Let it cook.
And was there salt added in the tomato puree as well?
Seasoning was added, absolutely. So you need to add the seasoning.
Hi, so what they said was nothing has been added to the tomato puree. Uh,
Having some internet issues right now. Yeah. So we've gotten another question. Once you go to IHM and chose culinary arts instead of hotel management, will you also learn about the front desk and stuff? Guys, we have another question in chat. Someone has asked, once you go to IHM and choose culinary arts instead of hotel management, will you also learn about the front desk and stuff?
Your voice is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, cool. So once you join any hotel management institute, regardless of what you take as your specialization, you will have to go through specialization that. Whatever.
Sorry, did anybody say something? Hello.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So once you join, you have to go through all aspects of training that includes front desk, food and beverage service, there's housekeeping and everything. And again, it depends on your academics, what you do there. It's not like you choose to become a chef and you become a chef, right? You need to academically prove yourself that you can become a chef. And based on that, based on your performance, they will let you know if you are, you know, if you are fit for the course or not. So again, it's a lot of hard work, but if you want to pursue it, I mean, it's well and good.
We have another question. Should we add the lasagna sheets in the boiling water? And how do you check if the lasagna sheets are done?
See, lasagna sheets will take very less time and they become very soft and you can tear a sheet. If you don't see a small white line in between, it means they're cooked, right? Or you can bite it, tear a bit off and bite it. If you feel it is a little chewy, leave it in the water, but never ever switch off the gas. Once it's done, you drain the water off and immediately add a lot of oil so that you don't want the layers to stick. That's about it. So it's pretty simple, like any other pasta.
So if the water's boiling right now, they should add the sheets in, right?
Yeah, if it has come to a rolling boil, mine hasn't. But if your water has come to a rolling boil, please add your pasta sheets.
There's a question. Could we add fresh herbs to the sauce?
Sure, go for it. If you want to make the sauce Indian, you can go for it. If you want to add herbs, go for it. Everything, anything. The sauce can be modified into anything you want to. If you're a meat lover, you can add meat to the sauce. So this is just the base, right? So if you want to modify, you can do n number of things according to your taste, of course.
There's another question. How many sheets do we use?
So since I'm making a small batch today, I would use about 8 because I'm going to be layering it one on top of the other. Right. But yeah, you can use how many, it depends on your layers and how big your baking pan is. You can go for a lot of layers.
Guys, I would suggest to wait for the chef to reach that step. It would be more clear that way. Yeah. Well, he just added some more tomato puree left over in the packets.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we can do.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the jackfruit which we cook, right?
Could you just hold it from a different angle to show us how he's tearing the jackfruit?
Nothing. You just need to pull it out. I'm just pulling the seeds out, but you can rip it apart. It's pretty simple. It's like shredding, basically. That's it. You take it and you shred it. It's like pulling it apart.
So how long did you cook the jackfruit for?
About 15 minutes.
It was just salted water or plain water? Or...
Plain water. You have to get rid of these. That's about it. So you guys should just start getting rid of the seeds and start pulling it apart because it's pretty soft. And we'll use this for our sliders. Just crush it. You find the husk of seeds also inside. Do not use these. So how many ever seeds are there inside? Please get rid of those.
Guys, if you're understanding and are able to follow along, can you just give me a thumbs up? Great, thank you.
All right. So before we move to the next step, I'll just give everybody a summary. So the first step that we did is use the jackfruit, put it in boiling water, and boil the jackfruit for 15 minutes or until it's super soft. The second step was take some oil, some butter, and heat it in the gas. And after a few minutes after it's boiled up, add garlic.
Anirudh, you're on mute.
I think.
No, we can hear him. I think it's
Yeah,
you.
that's the camera just on mute.
Okay.
Yeah. So you add the garlic and wait for the garlic to almost turn brown. And once that has reached, add the onions. Now let the onions simmer for a while. And after about 5 to 7 minutes, add the rest of the vegetables. Again, let all the vegetables simmer for a while. And then let's say after another 7 minutes, you can add the tomato puree. Once that's done, please keep using the tomato puree and keep simmering it until what point?
Until the point of the raw flavor of the tomato should go and you taste it. It gets a little bit sweet. A little bit, not too much.
Right. So you keep simmering it until the sweetness comes in, a little bit of sweetness.
Boom.
So we can keep simmering it for 2 minutes. At the same time, you can take the jackfruit, which is now cooled down, and remove any seeds that were there inside the jackfruit. Because we do not use the seeds in the cooking part, so we remove them. So that was a summary until now. If you have any questions, please either turn on your mic or you can let us know on the chat box. Thank you.
Do we chuck the seeds away, the jackfruit?
Yes, you can throw the seeds away, but another option is you can use it for a vegetable stock in the future. But for this session, we do not need the seeds. Now, as you can see, the chef has taken out the lasagna sheets and added them to the water, the boiling water. He's added about 6 sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making a small portion. Again, it's up to them how much they want.
Someone has asked how long we should boil the sheets for.
So let me tell you a trick. See, so in any pasta packet, there will be a cooking time and there will be a boiling time. So suppose a pasta packet says boil for 10 minutes. I would suggest you do it for about 8.5 to 9 minutes because you're going to be cooking it again in an oven, right? So keeping that in mind, boil it for 1.5 to 2 minutes lesser so that you can continue the cooking process and it tastes perfect. You don't want it to be mushy.
Got it. So you boil for about 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes.
That's all. So since this is almost done, right? Almost. This is in the brim of being done. This is when. So since it's almost done, I add salt. So a lot of people have this misconception of adding sugar to any tomato based sauce or whatever. Please do not add sugar. Tomato is sweet as it is.
Yeah, guys. So again, to reiterate, this is just like the base that the chef is making. You can add your own stuff to it. Also, you can add any herbs, oregano, chili flakes, anything like that.
We have another question for the lasagna mix. They've asked if any salt has been added to the base.
Yes. To the base or that? To the sauce?
Yeah, to the sauce.
Yes, I just added salt. So as it like it's almost done cooking. Towards the end, I added salt because now I know exactly how well seasoned it is and how uniformly seasoned it is.
How much salt should we add?
It depends on your taste.
How much have you added?
So I have added about 1.5 spoons. You can see
Please.
1.5 spoons.
Another question. What can you do to balance it out if you add too much salt?
Okay, that is a very nice question. To balance it out, you can add more tomato puree, and that's about it. And if you have any more vegetables with you, saute the vegetables in a bit of oil and add it. So the salt will balance out because it's not like any Indian dish where you can add potato and even it out.
Mhm.
So it's better to season at the end. But if this happens, add a little more of tomato puree and saute some vegetables and add it. Yeah, it's done.
Done.
Base is done.
Nihar, maybe you could show a closer look of how it looks right now, the base, so people
All right.
can
So
compare and see.
this is how it looks right now. It's perfectly cooked.
Quickly, it's getting heavy.
Yeah, please, please. It's getting heavy. I'll just show you the final thing. This is how it looks right now. We'll use it later on. Now let's go on to the lasagna sheets. Any questions regarding these?
So now we'll move on to our next component, the bechamel. So it's a white sauce. Again, I'm not adding any cheese to my sauce, my bechamel. I'm just keeping it plain and simple. So that since we are adding a lot of cheese on top, grated cheese, we don't want it to be too overpowering with cheese. And I mean, you can add grated cheese because it has a completely different flavor profile. But when it comes to one second, sorry. But when it comes to a bechamel, it's all blended in, right? So it'll be too pungent, and you won't get cheese strings. You won't get the full.
Okay.
So again, we'll start off with butter. So guys, this is the 1:1 ratio. Okay, so if I'm adding 1 spoon of butter, I'll add 1 spoon of flour, and I will cook it off.
Okay.
And once I cook it off, I will add milk, cook it off till it becomes thick. Then I'll add salt. That's it. Pepper, if I want, I can add little pepper. Nutmeg, if you like, you can add grate a little bit of nutmeg. Again, you can go crazy with the recipe. It is all I'm showing is the base, right? So with the base, you can do n number of things. So let's start.
Wait, 1 second. Before you start, can you just repeat the ingredients needed for this? Your voice is not clear. And can you specify which flour you used?
Maida, refined flour. Refined flour. Refined flour. Maida.
He's making the white sauce, the bechamel sauce. And what he mentioned till now was that he's not going to be adding any cheese to his sauce because anyways to the lasagna, he's going to be adding some cheese. And the ratio is 1:1. So if he's adding 1 spoon of butter, he's going to add that much flour.
Refined flour, always use maida, please. So now you can see I'll add about 2 spoons of butter. So I don't immediately start adding the flour. You need to wait because you need to switch on the gas.
Someone has asked how much milk do we need?
That's next step.
I will come to that the next step. So for milk, for example, it depends on how thick you want your bechamel. Some people like it really thick. Some people like it really thin, but a syrup consistency. So for example, I use about 100 grams. All in all, if I have 150 grams flour and butter together, I would use about 200 ml milk because I like that consistency. But usually, if you look at it in a hotel management background or a culinary wise, if it is coming to 100 grams, 100 ml of milk because it is really thick.
Okay.
You need to wash it out with more milk. So again, it depends on you, on the consistency you like. But
on an average, 1:1.
Yeah, on an average, 1:1 for flour and butter, and milk could be like close to according to your choice.
150 to 100
Yeah,
ml.
150 to 100, depends on the thickness that you do. So the butter is melting.
For the people who weren't able to listen, the butter and flour has to be a 1:1 ratio. So how much ever butter you've added, you add that much flour in it. And also the milk, you should add it depending on what sort of consistency you would like. So if you would like it thicker, then add a little less milk. And if you would like it thinner, then add more milk. But I think on an average, it should be 100 to 150 ml. So I guess we'll see that now when they add it in.
Always cook out your flour and butter because this is a very crucial step because you will get, taste of raw flour, and that is something people don't like, right? So cook it out. Always smell your food. If you get a nice nutty smell, that means it's done. But this will take about 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, where you need to cook it out.
Is the flame low or medium?
I kept it on medium.
Guys, you're muted.
The milk, like cut the milk.
Mhm.
The milk is right here. So
We are cutting milk right now.
are you serious, bro? This is the consistency of the roux where you have to add the milk now. Stop. Okay. You're grating the cheese, huh, Neha? You guys can see. Add some. Okay, now we'll add some more milk. So again, according to consistency, if you like this thickness, stop it here. You know. Wow. So keep it on heat and whisk till whenever you think you feel the consistency is apt for you, and that's about it. So,
Could you also explain why you're putting flour?
so flour helps bind it all together, right? Flour is basically very starchy. So that's what brings it all together. And the butter is just to release all the. So flour has this beautiful thing called gluten. So it needs to release its gluten strands and bring it all together because this thickness you will not get if you use corn flour. Because corn flour will make it little too doughy. So that's why they use flour and they cook off the flour.
We have another question. Any spice or salt that has to be added to this?
See, according to your taste, again, you can add chili flakes, you can add nutmeg, you can add oregano, you can add just salt and pepper, which is what I'll be doing. So now I feel this is done. So how you check when it's done? Sorry. You take a spoon,
Mhm.
you do this. It'll form a line.
Okay.
It means it's ready. So yeah, you can add salt, you can add pepper, you can add garlic powder, onion powder, you can add nutmeg, you can add whatever you want to. And according to your taste, you can season it with anything at all. So guys, this sauce which I'm making, this white sauce is the base for any white sauce pasta. Right? This is not only for lasagna. If you're making any white sauce pasta, you can use this sauce.
Okay.
Or the vegetable sauce, if you're making a red sauce pasta, okay, you can use it.
Mhm.
So
Please
it's just
stop the flame.
I'm sorry.
Have you switched off the flame for the white
Yes,
sauce?
it's done. Once you reach that consistency, you have to turn off the flame or it will continue cooking.
Okay. You were saying about red sauce and white sauce.
Yeah. So red sauce and white sauce, yeah, it's the base for any pasta. Now, just give me a minute.
Sure.
Just switch off the pasta.
Yeah, Priyanka, he added salt and pepper to his sauce once the sauce was the right consistency. And as you can see, the pasta is done, so the chef has taken it off the flame.
I'm just draining the pasta. Done. So again, as you can see, it's not perfect, but yeah, come out well. So at this point of time, I'm using a colander, but you guys can use a bowl if you want to. Just drain it out and add ample amount of oil, and just through each layer. You need the oil to spread through each layer because you do not want the pasta to stick. And oil prevents it from sticking. Got it?
Yeah.
Done. That's done.
Nice.
What oil have you used?
Sorry, what?
What oil did you guys use to make the
See,
pasta?
right now I used a normal refined oil because you're just lubing it up. You're not imparting any flavor to it. So I would suggest if you not like don't use any olive oil or a pomace oil because you're just ruining its purpose. So use any normal refined oil for it to like just to oil it up. But in case you're making any other pasta or if you want to drizzle some olive oil on top of your lasagna, you can go for like the proper olive oil, which imparts flavor.
Okay.
And what are we doing now?
So now we'll start assembling. We'll start assembling the lasagna.
Give us a minute, please.
Hi, Kanak. So the cheese will be added when we are assembling the lasagna. The chef will take you through that.
So right now what we are doing is we are grating the cheese. Cheese, how much ever you want, you can grate. It depends completely on your preference.
So now, how much is this? 200 grams. So we're using around 150 grams.
Okay.
What type of cheese is this? Any specific type?
I've used mozzarella, but if you want to add more kind of cheese like cheddar or parmesan or anything, you can add. But always go with a bit of mozzarella because you always want that cheese stretch. You need that kind of consistency, and it is a low salted cheese, so it doesn't really impact the flavor as much. So we'll start assembling the lasagna now. Okay. Again, in layers. So first layer, I'll be adding a little bit of this bechamel, just for it to have a bit of the, moistured out. This is the tricky bit.
So on top of this base,
we
we are
have-
putting these sheets.
So once you've added this, take your vegetables.
Use video.
So guys, add as much as sauce as you want to.
So the bottommost base was white sauce,
White sauce.
then sheets. After that, this filling, and again we are having another layer of white
White
sauce.
sauce. And now this layer, we'll add.
We'll be adding cheese now.
Be as liberal as you want.
Will this be going in the oven or will you be cooking it on the gas?
It'll be going in the oven. So a lasagna, whenever you finish it off, it's always better to finish it off in an oven.
On top of the cheese base, we are adding again two sheets of lasagna.
So keep repeating the process till the very top.
Okay.
Do we add the bechamel sauce only at the bottom most layer?
No. So at the bottom you add bechamel, add the lasagna sheets, add the tomato base, add some more bechamel on top of the tomato base, and then
Lasagna sheets again.
lasagna sheets again.
In between, you can add cheese as well.
Cheese is completely up to you guys. I am adding it because I like cheese in between my layers.
So let me summarize. Chef, so the first layer is the white sauce.
Yes.
After that is the sheet.
Yes.
And then on top of that, the tomato base.
Yes.
And if you like cheese, you can add cheese on top of that. And repeat this process until you reach the very end, top of the vessel. Am I right?
Yeah, but
Neha, you missed a step. Above the tomato base, add the bechamel sauce again and then the cheese.
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
so finally, final layer, I will take some pasta sheets. And I will
Also, what can we do if we have extra tomato base or bechamel?
use it for any other pasta. Make anything you want to. You can make spaghetti, add it in spaghetti. You can make tagliatelle, any pasta, or you can just have it with bread. You can add bechamel on top of sliced bread with a little bit of cheese and bake it.
Wait, what's bechamel sauce?
White sauce. So since I had extra pasta sheets, I'm adding it on top. And make the lasagna look a little nice. Just a half of it. Not too much on top.
Mhm.
It's not at all lasagna. We had a cake tin, a big cake tin. You want some cheese? Of course.
Yes, Adarsh, sure. So what you do is in your pan, the first thing you add is the bechamel sauce, which is the white sauce. Then you add your pasta sheets or lasagna sheets. Over that, you add the tomato sauce or base. Again, on top of the tomato base, you add the white sauce. You can add cheese over the white sauce if you would like, and then cover it up with the lasagna sheets. You keep repeating this layering over and over until you are satisfied. It's based on your preference, how many layers you add.
So it's done right now. This will still go into the oven.
Yes. You have to bake it. Bake it at about 180. So again, it depends from oven to oven. Some ovens tend to heat up really fast. So please check out at what rating, like at what setting your oven is. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Sandy, at the top you add the a layer of pasta, very little of the tomato base, bechamel sauce, and the cheese. I hope
Yeah,
that answers the question.
done. So let it bake, let the cheese melt, and we've layered it fine. Hopefully the oven doesn't. But yeah, keep it at 180, guys, and always keep an eye on it so that you won't burn anything. And just check, just check for the browning on top because there's no set time for a lasagna. It all depends on how well it cooks, and that's about it. Your lasagna will be done. Approximately, I would say about 10 to 15 minutes top because everything is good. It's already great.
Yes, the oven is preheated for 15 minutes at 180 only.
We have a question. Are we using the barbecue sauce for the sliders?
Yes, we are using the barbecue sauce for our sliders because making a barbecue sauce is a tedious task. But in case you guys want to make a barbecue sauce, I will share the recipe with Nihar and members of Road Track. You can collect it from there. But as of now, yes, we are using a barbecue sauce, a store-bought barbecue sauce.
I hope everyone's keeping up with the chef. If you have any questions, you can unmute or post it on the chat.
Also, we're really excited to see how you guys have done and what you've made. So, if you can do, be sure to post it on social media and tag our Instagram. I'll post that in the chat.
And guys, we are going on a 10-minute break. So anyone has any questions, can please go ahead and ask.
Until then, I think the lasagna would be baked.
Yeah.
You can also show us if you want what has been cooking at your ends right now by switching on your videos too. Hi, Shweta. We haven't made the sliders yet. They are taking a 10 minutes break, and after that, we'll start working on the jackfruit sliders. Yeah.
Okay, now we'll move on to the sliders.
Course.
Guys, let us know if you want some break in between. If your lasagna is not ready yet or you want some time.
Guys, if you want some time, please do let me know. We can resume with the sliders after you guys are done with the lasagna too. That is completely fine.
Can you start after like 5-10 minutes?
Okay, sure.
Also, we have the participants want to see how we can cut the lasagna and serve it.
Okay. So right now we are not that well equipped to cut it, but I can give you a demo. So suppose this is your lasagna tray, right? This is just for like 2 portions. I cut it in half and I remove it with a slicer. But if it is a circle portion, cut it 1/4. Or if it is a lasagna complete tray, you cut portion wise. For example, 9 portions. You cut it 9 squares and you have to scoop it out.
Okay.
But we will get to that later because this is piping hot right now. And we will show them an example.
Cool.
So
we'll, that answered your question. We'll show a demo also after some time.
We'll resume back in 10 as someone requested.
Yeah.
So I think at 3:40 we can show them how to cut the lasagna.
All right.
Meanwhile, if anyone has any questions regarding the course that the chef has done, Kaushik has a question. Can't we just empty the bowl and serve?
Not that wouldn't be great, because if we empty the bowl, uh, regardless of how many layers are there, it will not hold its shape together. You'll have to wait for a while, and you'll have to cut it. You will have to cut it for it to maintain its shape, because we have to scoop it out. But if you empty it the other side, the whole thing is going to collapse.
So don't turn your bowl upside down to serve the lasagna. That won't hold the shape. We have another question by Shweta. Can we oil the baking tray or use an aluminium foil to avoid it sticking to the tray?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, she has asked, can we oil the baking tray or use an aluminium foil to avoid it sticking to the tray?
You can, but it doesn't matter, because it's already not going to stick, because it's very saucy, and I don't think it's like a cake, because you are going to scoop it out anyways. It's not going to stick as much. But you can go for it. You can oil it. You can use aluminium, butter, anything. But just do not use flour. Don't dust it with flour.
Also, if you guys have any questions, anything in general, any tips that you want for anything that you make, you can post it in chat or unmute and ask for in these 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Also, guys, don't forget to hydrate and drink a lot of water. This can get pretty tiring since we've already been doing this for an hour and a half. Yeah.
We'll resume at 3:40. So if you want to take a break, go sit down. You can come back by 3:40. We'll start at 3:40. We have a question from Kaushik. What kind of paper or sheets can we use for the sides of of the utensil so that it does not stick? Or will dusting with flour be an option?
You can use baking paper or baking sheets or aluminium foil. Please do not dust with flour. So what happens when you dust with flour is it will tend to burn because we're keeping it at a high heat. And since most of the components are cooked, we just want the cheese to melt and form a color. So use baking paper, that is butter paper or aluminium.
Okay, he missed to add that while making cake, what should he use? The question was meant for while baking a cake.
While baking a cake, it is completely different. So majority of the people who work in the industry, for example, they use butter paper, right? Because flour is just going to make the consistency of the cake a little different on the outside. So I suggest you use butter paper for cake. Don't even go for aluminium. Butter paper is the safest bet you have.
I have one last question. For people who want to make the pasta from scratch, is there an eggless recipe that you have that they can use?
Yeah. So basically, all the pasta recipes deals with flour and eggs. So flour and egg, you need to add. The ratio depends on how much you want to make. So I cannot give a fixed ratio right now. And then knead it till it becomes a nice dough. Keep it in your fridge, set it for a while, and then roll it out into the desired pasta shape or lasagna sheet if you want to, and boil it immediately.
And is it possible to make it eggless?
Uh, Eggless pastas can be made, but I do not know a set recipe for it because most of the eggless pastas are industrialized. So I'm sorry, I don't have a discrete answer for a eggless pasta.
We can start now, maybe. If you guys are back, once again, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, Kanak has taken it out. Would you like to show us, or you can even take a picture and send it on the group?
Shweta also has a question. What other... Okay, let's just look at Kanak's lasagna first. Oh, that's amazing. That looks yum.
That looks really good.
Thank you, Kanak, for sharing. Meanwhile, Shweta has a question. What other vegetarian dishes can we make with lasagna sheets?
So nothing in particular with lasagna sheets. You can boil the lasagna sheets and slice them up and make a pasta. So something like spaghetti. But with lasagna sheets, you can roll, what to say, you can roll some cheese inside lasagna sheets and put it on a baking sheet with some kind of sauce, a base sauce of some sort, and then stick it in the oven. And it's pretty much the same. It's not layered, it's rolled. But not a lot with lasagna sheets, but with other pastas, yes.
Yeah, Tulsi, I think they'll be starting soon, right now, with the sliders.
So yeah, we are going to start off on the barbecued jackfruit sliders. So again, this is a very normal basic recipe that I'm using. In case you guys want to improvise, you can improvise. There are a lot of methods, lot of things you can use, lot of spices. You want to Indianize it, you can go for it. But yeah, base of any slider will be the same because you just want a filling and a small slider one. In this case, we are using pav because it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, you have to chop up garlic for this. So if you guys just need to chop up some garlic for this. Just run your knife through it till it gets nice and fine.
What will we be using this garlic for?
We'll be using this garlic for just for flavor in the jackfruit because you know jackfruit doesn't impart a lot of flavor. We're using jackfruit as a texture wise component because usually when you see sliders or when you hear the word sliders, you go for something like pulled pork sliders or something, and it has that kind of a texture. So to impart some flavor, for example, I'm just using garlic as the flavor component, and then we'll add the barbecue sauce at the very end, and that's about it.
Do we need onions?
No, I mean it's up to you. You want to add onions, you can add jalapeno, you can add anything at all according to your flavor and taste. But since you know I have garlic in abundance, I would like to use it. Plus, garlic gives a good flavor, gives a nice umami flavor to it, which kind of helps and boosts the whole process of the slime. So shall we start?
Sure.
So for this dish, again, I'm using refined oil. Don't go fancy over here uh, because like it doesn't make sense. It's a slider. So use any refined oil. You can use butter if you want to. Ghee, anything that imparts flavor. It's your choice. Add it when the oil is cold so that it slowly starts imparting flavor to the oil.
Mhm.
Is the flame on high or?
Yes, it's on high.
Show them this. So this is the barbecue sauce that we are going to be using.
Again, brand is up to you guys. Choose any brand of your liking.
Can you guys show the barbecue sauce again?
This one.
It's a V. So at this stage, you can see the stage. We'll add the jackfruit. So guys, I hope you got rid of the seeds of the jackfruit. Otherwise, you can fish it out when you're cooking. Now, just turn the heat to medium.
Okay. Right after putting
Adding the jackfruit. Yeah. How do you get the jackfruit from? You find husk like this, get rid of it. You can eat it, but it doesn't feel good in your mouth.
Mhm.
This point, at this stage, salt. Again, don't over salt it. You're going to be adding barbecue sauce, so never over salt it.
So 3 pinches.
Yeah, 3 pinches will do. More than enough. And then pepper. Yeah, that's about it. And mash it up. This point, at this stage, after you've added garlic, what I've added is garlic, sauteed it, then added jackfruit, salt, pepper. That's it. At this stage, add barbecue sauce. Don't go overboard. In case you can add little by little and keep checking the taste. Yeah. Okay, more than that.
5, 6.
About 5 to 6 feet.
Sorry, 5 to 6 what?
Teaspoons of barbecue sauce.
Right.
Yeah, Just need to heat it up a little for the jackfruit to get the flavor. About 2 minutes, and that's about it. How is that?
Yeah, that's it.
There's 6 I added black pepper to it. Salt and black pepper. Once it is at this consistency, it's hot enough. All the barbecue sauce has been spread evenly throughout all the jackfruit. It looks like pulled meat, right? It looks like pulled meat. Once this texture is there, take it off the flame. So now what we do is again pow, go down a bit. Just need to cut it in between. So yeah, we got so yeah, you can use butter, ghee, oil, dry pan also for the step that I'm going to do. Just toasting the bun. I'll use ghee for this.
Can we use the extra tomato base or the bechamel sauce from the lasagna on this?
Sure, go for it. Go for it. But again, check on the taste of the barbecue sauce as well. Make sure you heat the barbecue sauce through with all of them, all of the components. But yeah, you can go with the base of the, bechamel sauce for it. Just check. You need it to be toasted. Getting there.
What are the vegetarian substitutes we can use for jackfruit if we don't find it?
You can again for sliders or something like jackfruit itself was a vegetarian substitute for meat. But if you want something veg, you can go for tofu. You can go for paneer or something like that, because yeah, that helps more, gives you the consistency and the mouth feel. But yeah, jackfruit is a substitute for meat, so don't get confused there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So look for this kind of color. This is how it should be toasted.
Look for this kind of color on your pav.
Yeah, I mean, see.
Mhm.
Don't worry if there's smoke, just toasting. Nothing's gonna burn. So yeah, have we lesson?
Sure. Let's start assembling now.
Yeah. Can I get the pav? So yeah, it's pretty simple and basic from here. Just take your mixture and spoon it in. That's it. Again, if you guys want to add some jalapeno or something on top, just for taste, or some grated cheese, and you can keep it in the microwave for it to melt, you can go for it. But since it's a slider, I have kept it pretty simple. You just need what the base is and the bread. Done.
Nice.
That's it. So lasagna and sliders are done.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys got on to what I said and have the recipes. Feel free to change it. Feel free to add whatever you want to, and feel free to improvise. And yeah, go for it. Please share your pictures of what you made. And it was really fun cooking alongside you guys. I hope you guys learned something. And thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chef. Guys, any questions? So today we made this, the jackfruit slider and lasagna.
Guys, so I would just like to thank everyone for coming. I hope there are no questions. If you do, you can ask right now. I'll just give you guys 2 minutes. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming and thank you, Chef. I'll pass the stage on to Sakshi. Um, Resume.
So, first and foremost, the session was truly fun and enriching. I would like to thank Chef Sai Siddharth for taking out time to be present here today and passing on your tips and tricks and recipes with us. It was extremely mouth-watering for the rest of us who were not cooking alongside you, watching you cook all of these yummy dishes. Thanks to the District 3190 team for supporting this event by sharing the Zoom link. Thank you, Chef, for being present here again.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful cooking with all of you. And yeah, please do try. And for more recipes, yeah, go for it. Research, contact, everything is there. You just need to ask.
Thank you, Chef. I also would like to extend my gratitude to the audience present here today. Hope you all had fun and are planning to continue our cooking journey even further. A big thank you for supporting our social causes by helping us raise these funds. Lastly, special thanks to Yasha, Nihar, Anirudh, and Rufina for organizing this amazing workshop. We will continue to organize such events and we hope that you will continue to join and support us. Hope to see you guys in the next session that you guys have registered for. Thank you all.
And sorry, just one last thing. Do not leave the WhatsApp group right now if you've signed up only for this session, because we will be providing certificates and we'll notify you on the group once we've sent those out. Yeah.
You can also share your results from today's session on the group by sharing pictures with us. And if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us on the group and we will forward it to the chef. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.